Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell. And as you see to my right, it's Jason Cameron joining us for the regular weekend wrap-up. How are you, Jason?
I'm doing great. Doing great. It was a nice day today.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, glad we had a good weekend. And yeah, we had glorious weather this week. It was pretty fantastic. I worked outside on a few of those days, and I was blown away. It was actually hot and beautiful.
Yes, it was. It was a really nice week to work, especially if we were working outside. It was a nice week to work outside. So it's unfortunate. I don't think the rest of our weeks are going to be that nice.
No,
but it would be nice if it was.
True. Yeah. Yeah, well, let's hope we get some great weather through this December. We're luckier than most parts of Canada. They're under the blanket of snow and dealing with pretty cold weather. So we got to count our lucky stars for that. Week 13 in the NFL. Let's dive in. We're about 30 minutes away from the Sunday nighter. The Chiefs and Broncos shouldn't really be much of a game. I don't know. Chiefs are just, to me, the class of the whole NFL again, and probably have a really good chance of repeating as Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, and also, too, I don't know about the Broncos, but do they actually have a quarterback back there today? Or do they have one?
Yeah, it's up in the air. I don't know what they're going to do. Last week was just ridiculous, wasn't it? That was a crazy game.
Yeah, that was ridiculous because, like, I'll say this, because now that the Broncos are actually going up against the Chiefs, if they don't have a quarterback, this might be pretty. This might be a massacre. This might be a massacre.
Chiefs are going for their fifth straight AFC West crown, and I'm sure they should steamroll the Broncos. Broncos are very undermanned, so we're not missing much if we miss the first part of this game. That's for sure. Yeah. The AFC playoff picture: division leaders are Steelers, Chiefs, Bills, and Titans. Even though the Titans lost to the Browns today, that was a shocking result. You and I have been talking about the Browns and not really, confident. They've had such a weak schedule, getting to 8-3 before today, and you're thinking, Titans, they got just too many weapons, and the Browns really impressed this day.
Yeah, they put points on the board in a hurry in this game, like big time. Yeah. To the point that you're like, wow, okay, maybe the Browns are for real. And let's be honest, the score is not indicative of what the game was. The score was a lot closer than what the game actually was. The Browns really handled the Titans big time.
Yeah. No, it was, I think it was 38-7, 38-10 at halftime, and 28-3. The Titans made a furious comeback. They outscored the Browns 28-3 in the end, but it was a foregone conclusion way early. I think the Browns scored on their first 5 possessions, and they were looking great. Both teams are the top 2 teams in the NFL in rushing. Browns number 1 and Titans number 2. I thought it would just be, a ground attack with both guys. But Baker Mayfield had a fantastic game and was able to utilize his weapons. And it was holy cow. Browns, have set a lot of records. They haven't, been 9-3 since I think it's 1994. They haven't, had a 4-game winning streak since 2009. We talk week after week after week all the futility problems they've had, but very impressive win. I think maybe people in Ohio are actually going to become believers.
Well, they've suffered for so long, just for so long. They need something to cheer for. And I guess this is their year because, heck, that's a big win against a great team in the Titans.
Yeah, huge. Today was a really great day. 1,000 players had painted cleats on today. My Cause, My Cleats, it's called. They are sold to benefit different causes and charities around the world. I love when the NFL does this. We always called the NFL the No Fun League. You weren't able to do, many things, change your uniform, have any kind of props, anything. But NFL was wise enough to say, hey, let's have this initiative. And yeah, a lot of really neat cleats, a lot of really amazing causes. I'm really impressed with when the NFL does this.
It's always good when the NFL does that. It's always good when they're driving force the causes that they're passionate about, or at least their players are passionate about, right? So it just puts the news out there, gets the information out there so that people know that these things are about, and you can help by, putting forth your money there for those causes.
Yeah, no, I love it. Yeah, it's fantastic. Well, we talked about the Browns upsetting the Titans, which was a pretty big upset, but they were both 8-3 going in. So, there was people that picked the Browns. But the upset of the weekend had to be the Giants beating the Seahawks. We just saw the finish about an hour ago. And I don't know what the heck happened here. The Giants are on a 4-game winning streak. I can't believe that they're, dominating that NFC East now, but Seattle slipped back into second place in the NFC West, and a 17-12 loss was definitely not what a lot of people were expecting today.
So the Giants are the toast of the NFC East? Is that what I'm hearing? Is that it?
At 5-7. Toast
Yeah.
of 5-7.
It's amazing. I definitely didn't foresee this outcome when this game started. That's for sure. Kudos to the Giants for winning a defensive battle. And it just seemed like the Seahawks just couldn't get anything going or anything started whatsoever on their offensive end of the ball. Just nothing. Just nothing.
Yeah. Especially with Daniel Jones hurt. Colt McCoy, he's been in the league a long, long time, but it was 2,232 days since he got his last victory in the NFL. So, if you're putting your money on the Giants today, you are a very bold person. Incredible that he was able to pull off this win. He didn't do a ton. The star of the show was Wayne Gallman. He had 135 yards on the ground, and Alfred Morris had 2 touchdowns, one through the air, one on the ground. They definitely used the ground attack, had the ball for a lot of the play, and were able to just grind out a win. And their defense was good. They were giving Russell Wilson a lot of trouble.
Yeah, the defense actually has been steadily improving with the Giants over the last couple of weeks. And I guess it's culminated in them completely shutting down Russell Wilson in this game, pretty much, which is amazing accomplishment for the Giants defense.
Yeah. Tyler Lockett did have an ankle injury today. Hopefully it's not too serious. He had a relatively quiet game with 6 catches for 69 yards. DK Metcalf, 5 catches for 80 yards. Chris Carson finally back, second game back, and he was definitely involved a lot more. 13 carries for 65 yards on the ground and 3 catches for 45 yards through the air and 1 touchdown. But yeah, I don't know. The Seahawks definitely didn't expect that they would lose this game. I think they figured, we'll be able to take it easy and beat these guys, and they were very wrong.
Well, you know what? In the NFL, I don't think you can ever really take it easy. Well, sorry, I misspoke. Except if you're playing the Jets. But otherwise, you got to take every team very, very, very seriously here. Like they're professionals. Every game is not decided until the end of the game. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But still a very unexpected result for this particular game.
Yeah, sure was. Well, the Rams are now first in West and past the Seahawks with a big 38-28 win over the Cardinals. A big NFC West battle. Goff was definitely on target today, 37 for 47, 351 yards and a touchdown. He's really good when he's good, and they They had a little fall, let Seahawks back into first place, but now they've got it again, and we'll see. It's going to be a big battle between the Titans of that division.
Oh yeah, it most certainly is. And then with Jared Goff, he's just one of those quarterbacks that he needs time in the pocket to pass. Like if he's rushed, he's not going to be that good. But if he does have time, and if his offensive line is good, they give him that time, he's going to be very good. He's going to pick you apart. And that's what his offensive line did in this game.
Yeah, they got a lot of touchdowns from a lot of people. Higbee got a touchdown. Akers got a touchdown. Darrell Henderson, TD. Robert Woods was 10 for 85 yards. Cooper Kupp, 8 for 73 yards. And Sean McVay is 7-0 against the Cardinals in his career. Pretty nice stat there. Hopkins had a relatively quiet game, 8 catches for 52 yards and a touchdown. Unfortunately, Kyler Murray had an interception and a fumble, and he only had 173 yards 73 yards passing. But he was able to throw 3 touchdowns, but not enough against the Rams. And usually don't see the Rams give up 28 points on defense, but they still were able to get the win 38-28.
Yeah. And then, the Rams, their defense is really good, being led by Aaron Donald. But Kyler Murray, special player. He's able to put some points on the board very, very quickly. But just for today, it was not enough.
Yeah. The other afternoon game that was shown locally here was the Packers and the Eagles. Green Bay was led by Aaron Rodgers as usual, and he got his 400th touchdown today. Only the 7th player to reach that. Oh, no, 7 other players. So he's the 8th guy to reach that milestone. And he did it in the fastest, shortest amount of time, 193 games, continually upgrading his resume to get the Hall of Fame nomination when he retires.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Aaron Rodgers is that good. He's that good. He's always been that good. And congratulations to him to getting to that milestone quicker than so many of the other Hall of Famers that we could name, like Dan Marino, Steve Young, Tom Brady, Drew Brees. Like, it goes on for a while, my friend. So that is impressive stuff. Really impressive.
Incredible. Another thing that I noticed today was he has the all-time record for winning percentage in December. All the quarterbacks that are near him on the list are all in cold weather places. He has a record of 20-3 in December. And then number 2 on the list is Tom Brady, who's 36-6 in December. Brett Favre, 32-7, and John Elway, 21-5. Those are the top 4 guys on the list for the winningest December football players. Kind of a cool stat. I thought, I should write that down.
No, that is actually very cool. And it's actually poignant for the fact that all of those quarterbacks play in cold weather areas, cold weather cities. So they're used to it. They're used to the grind and used to the cold and used to being like, man, I can't feel my fingers, but that's okay. I can still throw a football. Good stuff.
Yeah. I don't think you will ever see teams like Miami, teams in hot places, being able to do that. It's these cold weather places that other teams come into. There's freezing on the sideline. They can't perform. And Aaron Rodgers is lucky. 2 guys from the Packers on that list, Favre and him. So it's a nice place to be in December, I guess, for if you want to win football games.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Another record that was tied today was Devonte Adams, probably considered the greatest receiver in football right now. There's other people that are going to say Thomas and Hopkins and all that, but I think Adams is probably the best receiver in the game right now, and he got a touchdown for his 7th straight game that tied a Green Bay record from a guy by the name of Don Hutson, who did it twice back in the 1940s. So the record was around a really long time before Adams came to it today, and another couple touchdown performance from him.
That is amazing that record has stood so long, because it's not like the Packers haven't had great receivers like in between those times. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure there was a guy by the name of Sterling Sharp that was pretty good. That was for the Packers.
Yeah.
I can't believe that it hasn't been broken up until this point. So great work by Devonte Adams, and a dominant win by the Packers today.
Yeah. They had a 99-yard drive today. They haven't had a 99-yard drive since 2009. So, yeah, they were really good today. The Eagles, on the other hand, really struggling. Carson Wentz has had probably one of the worst falls we've ever seen of a quarterback, going from the penthouse to the outhouse. And he was finally benched today. Jalen Hurts came on through his first professional touchdown pass, and put on a pretty good show. I was impressed with how Hurts looked, and he was composed and was able to create a couple of drives. Looked good, but too little too late.
Yeah, too little too late, and unfortunately for Jalen, his team is not good. So, you know, he did the best with what he has. And then also too, unfortunately for Wentz, yeah, that's a spectacular fall from grace for that man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you didn't see the highlights, watch out for the touchdown that made it 30-16. Aaron Jones, 77-yard scamper. Man, what a thing of beauty! It was impressive the way he went down the sideline, pushing guys out of the way, making moves, and just refusing to go down until he was in pay dirt. It was awesome. Awesome.
Oh, that's great, man. Yeah, like that scamper, like you said before, was that was a highlight reel stuff right there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It reminded me of beast mode almost. Not throwing guys out of the way as much as Marshawn Lynch did, but 77 yards and just refusing to go down, going and making sure that he was putting the game out of reach, because the Eagles had put it to 23-16. We're threatening the game, but boom, Jones took over, and they got Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones. The two Aarons there are really good players, and Green Bay's marching again. They look like they're definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with in the playoffs, especially when they get home games.
Oh yeah. When you got my two Aarons in the back there, you know what? You're going to have a lot of problems.
The other afternoon game between the Patriots and the Chargers was not even a contest at all. 45-0. I don't have the stats on that type of shutout, how long it's been since there was that big of a blowout for the Patriots. But wow, Cam Newton didn't do much. I'm surprised to see his line. 12 for 19, 69 yards and a touchdown. But he did have 2 touchdowns on the ground as he ran 14 times for 48 yards and 2 TDs. I don't think they trust him much through the air. So they had a ground attack today. They also scored some big special teams touchdowns. They had a blocked field goal for a touchdown. They had a punt return for a touchdown. But 45-0, that was a bit of a yawner, I guess.
Yeah. And also too, that's great for Bill Belichick saying, "See, we can still do it. We can still get it done like that." But but if you see the stat line for Cam Newton, you wouldn't think that the Patriots has won 45-0 at all.
No,
not even close.
No, I was shocked when I looked at that. I was just like, "Whoa, am I reading that correctly? Holy cow! They barely had him throw the ball." And there's nobody that did anything through the air. It was basically just on the ground the whole day. But N'Keal Harry got a touchdown, and there was a lot of controversy this week about him. There was a big story that came out, said he was the worst draft pick that the Patriots have ever had, the biggest bust. He went 32nd in last year's draft, 2019, and he just hasn't performed. This year, going into this game, he had 24 catches for 213 yards. His both seasons combined, DK Metcalf has already blown away that, and DK went, I think, 20 picks after N'Keal Harry. Michael Irvin even weighed in and said, yeah, I want him to come work out with me. I'm going to teach him how to be a proper NFL receiver, and I'll be able to help him because he needs help.
Oh wow! Like just like wow! Like he's been called out for not being a professional receiver. That's usually not very good, and that's not very good at all, especially if he hasn't figured it out yet. So he should probably that young man should probably take all the advice he can get at this point in time before his NFL career is actually officially over.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I was pretty shocked at how many people weighed in and said, yeah, he could be the worst draft pick that they've ever had. So, whoa, he better pull up his socks and yeah, he's been passed on the depth chart by other guys this year, and you know they don't have a wealth of talent at the wide receiver position, and you know they've given him every opportunity. He just hasn't delivered. But touchdown today, so maybe he heard all the rumblings, and yeah, maybe it'll turn it around for him.
Well, you know what? Maybe it will turn around for him along with the team. So yeah, maybe everybody will get a turnaround here.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the Minnesota-Jacksonville game. A lot closer than I expected. Jacksonville coming in 1-10, and yeah, firing their head people. It looked like this might be a dumpster fire. Minnesota's got a lot of weapons on offense, and they had to pull out a 27-24 overtime victory by a 23-yard Dan Bailey field goal in OT to even their record at 6-6 and push Jacksonville into the 1-11 record. But yeah, I didn't expect it to be close like this.
No, I did not expect that either. But the Jags came to play. They played hard. They played well, and their quarterback is, I think he's third on the depth chart. I want to say.
Yeah.
And he's been actually playing pretty good.
Yeah.
He's actually been playing very, very well for
Yeah.
a team in the position that they're at.
Yeah, I was impressed with how he looked last week, and this week, yeah, he definitely didn't take a step back. He looked good. They just needed a lot more than him, but yeah, he looked decent, and yeah, gave him a really big shot to win this game. They had a late touchdown to and a 2-point conversion to tie it and put it into overtime. They just couldn't punch it across in OT. Dalvin Cook had a crazy game. He touched the ball 38 times, 32 carries for 120 yards, and 6 catches for 59 yards. But he didn't punch it in the end zone, which has blown me away. When you touch the ball 38 times, you think you're going to be able to get it into pay dirt a couple times.
No, you'd think so, but instead he just like, I'll just amass yardage. That's all I'm going to do today. Just amass crazy amounts of yards.
Their amazing rookie Justin Jefferson, another fantastic game. 9 catches, 121 yards, and a TD. Yeah, he's going for a rookie of the year. He might have already wrapped it up. Adam Thielen back from COVID. He had 8 catches for 75 yards and a touchdown. They missed him for the last couple of weeks. Good to see him back and contributing right away.
Yeah. It's great to have your weapons come back when they're injured like that, and it's great to have Adam Thielen back on the field for the Vikes because he was sorely missed.
Yeah. We mentioned Mike Glennon, 28 for 42, 280 yards and a touchdown, and their running back James Robinson had 18 rushes, 78 yards and a touchdown, and he got the game time TD with 1:08 left. And then the 2-point conversion, but yeah, it just wasn't to be. So the Jets and the Jags are still battling it out for last in the NFL, trying to get that number 1 draft pick.
Yeah, man. I still think the Jets are going to beat them. They're going to beat the Jags, though, for sure.
All right. Well, yeah. Well, let's talk about the Jets then. They actually gave the Raiders some trouble. The Raiders had to pull out the victory with 5 seconds left on the clock. A 46-yard toss from Derek Carr to Henry Ruggs. He caught it, ran it in, and kept the Jets winless, 31-28. If they didn't come up with this miracle finish, Jets would have pulled out the win.
Here's the thing about the Jets. You kind of knew that they'd figure out a way to lose. You kind of knew it, right?
Yeah.
Because here's Ruggs on that final play. He did a double move. Why would you bite on a double move at the end of the game? He needs a touchdown to win. The DB bit, and then Ruggs was like, oh, sweet. I got like 4.27 speed here. See you later. Touchdown.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, pretty much, I guess, the second last play of the game, and they pulled it out. Huge win. Darren Waller went off. Josh Jacobs was hurt, and Devontae Booker came in and tried to fill in well, but Darren Waller was the man today. 13 catches, 200 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Derek Carr was 28 for 47, 381 yards and 3 touchdowns. But Waller, man, what a weapon he is at tight end. I've talked about it a bunch this year, and he continues to rack up the yards and the amount of catches. It's amazing.
Yeah, he just continues to keep growing and getting better and better with every week, and he is a beast. He is a problem to deal with for the backfield of any defense when he's coming across.
Tua Tagovailoa came back today and had himself an all-right game. Not too bad. 26 for 39, 296 yards and 1 touchdown. They were able to utilize that really amazing defense, though, and keep Cincy to 7 points as they won 19-7. Miami's 8-4 on the year, and they've utilized Fitzpatrick, Tua, and they're still rolling.
Seems to be working for them. Tua is now 4-1. And then in the beginning of this game, I think it was Xavier Howard got his 8th interception and is now leading the NFL in interceptions.
Yep.
And great win by the Dolphins, man. Really took it to the Bengals and kept them off the scoreboard for the most part in this game.
Yeah, that was an awesome pick he made. I was blown away. Yeah, 4th consecutive game with a pick. Leads the NFL, like you said, with 8. And their defense is phenomenal. They're really rolling. They've got a really amazing offense there that I don't see a lot of teams being able to take advantage of. They're going to be able to keep winning some games, and if they can get Tua on the same page as a lot of his receivers, look out. Dolphins could do something.
Oh, yeah. I think the Dolphins can definitely do something for sure. They have an opportunity. They have a chance. Just as long as Tua just keeps developing and just keeps growing with the offense and learning the offense the way that he is, I think they're going to be in great shape.
Yeah. They only had the 1 touchdown. Mike Gesicki, he had 9 catches for 88 yards in the touchdown. Their kicker, Jason Sanders, hit 4 field goals to be the reason why they scored a lot. And this game was a little bit marred. There was multiple fights through the game, and there was 5 ejections in the game. And then right at the very end of the game, I saw an overhead shot, and almost the whole entire squads on both sides were fighting, and even coaches got involved. I'm not sure what led to the bad blood between them, but it was crazy out there. There was brawls happening all through the game.
All right. We got some animosity. We got a rivalry here right now between Cincy and Miami. Cincy's just like, you Miami people, you think you're so cool. Oh, we got the teams and stuff. All right, let's beat them up. No, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. I don't mind it when there's a little bit of animosity between teams. Sometimes, you know what, makes those games that much better.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I didn't get to see too much of the game, but I'll have to watch some more highlights and see what led to the bad blood. But I don't. Football's a tough game, and it's good when teams don't like each other and come to blows a little bit. Good for Miami. Keep rolling. Since he's 2-9-1, obviously their season's long over. Okay, so let's talk about the Saints and the Falcons game. Saints keep rolling without Breeze, 10-2 now, and they clinched their 4th straight playoff berth 4 years in a row. Taysom Hill was 27 for 37, 232 yards, with 2 touchdowns and 14 for 88 yards on the ground. Is Breeze playing when he comes back in a week or two?
Oh man, you know what? I don't know if there's a reason to rush him back right now. They're winning. You know what I mean? Like they're getting it done. Taysom Hill is doing what he's doing, and he's leading his team to victory. So I don't believe there's necessarily a real rush to get him back in the lineup right now. I think they can sit him, let him heal up even more, let Taysom just continue to run the offense.
Yeah, no, I think that's smart. That's what I would have said too. I feel like, you've got Drew Brees, who's, just been an icon there, and, he's a little bit older, a little bit longer in the tooth, and, he's went through fractures in his ribs, collapsed lung, a lot of troubles, and, Taysom Hill's doing a really good job. They're 10-2, leading their division easily, and I wouldn't rush him back. Definitely when the playoffs hit, you want him there, but why bother putting him in harm's way until then?
Yeah, very much, because you know what, he'll need to get some reps in at some point in time. But hey, like you just said, he did suffer a collapsed lung. Kind of think that's kind of a big deal. So I don't know if it's necessary for you to just trot him out there immediately as soon as he's healthy.
Yeah. Exactly. Michael Thomas had a great game. He's starting to come around. 9 catches, 105 yards. Alvin Kamara, 15 carries for 88 yards and a touchdown. Jared Cook had a touchdown. Traquan Smith, TD. Not much to speak about with the Falcons. Julio Jones made his return. He's been out for a few weeks. 6 catches for 94 yards. Even Todd Gurley made it back today, but he had 8 carries for 16 yards, so not a factor whatsoever. They barely had a running game at all today. Falcons just really couldn't get going. Saints defense is phenomenal too.
Yeah, Saints defense have been playing very well, and the Falcons are looking to next year.
Yeah. I think it's kind of a broken record you've been saying for many, many weeks. Yeah. The Indy-Houston game was really tight. Great game. Indy pulled out the 26-20 win. They are 8-4, pushing Houston to 4-8. Deshaun Watson had the chance to pull out the win. He fumbled the ball on a snap late in the game. I think they were down to about the 2-yard line, and he fumbled it. Indy recovered and pulled out the win. It was a back and forth tight game, and I thought Houston was going to finally do it, but he just couldn't hold on to that snap.
Yeah, he couldn't hold on to the snap as he's trying to hand it off to the running back. For some reason, though, I blame Bill O'Brien. I really do for this loss.
I love it.
Yeah, like it's just he's done a lot to harm this team going forward, especially with the Hopkins trade, which I can't get enough of saying because it's the most idiotic trade I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, you know what, Deshaun Watson, they did their best, they tried, but with that fumble literally on the 2-yard line, it's heartbreaking. Heartbreaking loss for the Texans and a great win for the Colts. Yeah,
speaking of that big trade with DeAndre Hopkins, David Johnson, who they got back, just came back from injured reserve. He had 10 carries today for 44 yards and a touchdown and 6 catches for 24 yards through the year. So he contributed a bit, but definitely not the same level as Hopkins. They were dealt a big blow this week. Will Fuller got caught for some performance-enhancing drugs and was suspended for 6 games. So he was out. That made their top receiver Kiki QT, and he had a big game, 8 catches for 141 yards, and Chad Hansen was 5 for 101, but just not enough to beat Indy, who's 8-4 and rolling. Rivers is doing great. Did you hear about the Fuller suspension?
No, I didn't. but I wonder if he tried to use the excuse of, I'm just doing it just to combat COVID. Like I'm just trying my best here.
Let's hope. Yeah, let's hope. I'd love to hear the transcripts from the meeting, but I think he said it was some tainted supplement or something, but most of them do say that anyway, so you never know what to believe. But yeah, that's a good excuse. Let's use that if we get caught too.
Yeah, because as you know, that's usually the go-to of, it's probably tainted supplement. It was in my powder that I got, from GNC. Sorry. Of course, I get it.
No, but I love that COVID. Yeah, I've been using it to try to combat COVID, keep it off. I think steroids, build my muscles up, and I won't be able to catch COVID. No chance.
No chance at all. None.
Okay. Moving on. We got the Lions and the Bears. Another upset, in my opinion. Lions beating the Bears 34-30. Matthew Stafford had a huge game. 402 yards through the air, 3 touchdown passes. And this was Darrell Bevell's first head coaching game, first head coaching win. Great guy from all accounts. He was with Seattle for many years, and I had opportunity to deal with him a little bit. Nice to see him come in, shake it up, and get the Lions a much-needed win.
Yeah, great win by the Lions, especially with the comeback that they had, being down 2 scores with under 2 minutes left and getting it done. That was pretty impressive stuff by the Lions.
It was incredible, yeah. Yeah, they did a strip on Trubisky with 1:46 left, and we were able to get the ball and then get it again and get the winning score. It was amazing. Yeah, what a comeback. And Adrian Peterson, still got it. 2 touchdown runs again today. Carried the ball 16 times for 57 yards, another couple scores. And I'm glad to see AP's still chugging along.
Yeah, that score that he had near the end of the game, that looked like vintage old AP, where he just powered through, I don't know, everybody to get into the end zone.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
This is the Bears' 6th loss in a row. First time they've lost 6 in a row since 2002. David Montgomery was really great today, but he got stopped on 4th down at the 20-yard line with 11 seconds left as Detroit was marching down the field trying to get that winning score, and they weren't able to pull it off. And you always wonder about mid-season firings by coaching staff, but maybe it worked.
Yeah, I think so. Like if you can squeak out any sort of wins with this team, anything that you're doing is a good thing. So yes.
Yeah, David Montgomery was 17 for 72 with a couple touchdowns. The big guy today was Marvin Jones, 8 catches, 116 yards and a touchdown. And rolling along. Good old Detroit. So yeah, the game has just started. Denver, Kansas City. I'm sure we'll be able to give you some big scores for the Chiefs any moment. Why don't we switch gears and talk about the NBA a little bit? Let's chat first of all about the biggest trade that happened this past week. Russell Westbrook for John Wall. Wall hasn't played in a couple years, and so Washington decided they wanted a different running mate with Bradley Beal and new scenery for Wall, new scenery for Westbrook. What do you think of the trade?
Interesting. I don't know necessarily it makes any of those teams better. You know what I mean? Because Wall and Westbrook are pretty much very, very similar players with a couple little differences, minor differences. The one thing that's concerning about Wall is, yes, he is coming off a massive injury, coming back into the league. So hopefully he hasn't lost too many steps. I think that will become very, very apparent in the forthcoming season when he starts playing his games. I would say that Washington probably got the better of the two players, clearly, with Westbrook being a former MVP.
Yep.
And also, too, eventually I knew that it was going to be an issue with Houston going forward if they decide to keep Harden and Westbrook, which was there wasn't enough of a basketball to share between those two. And I believe Westbrook wanted a bigger role instead of just standing and watching Harden do what he does. And so that was never going to be a thing. So that's why Westbrook had to vacate the premises and leave and go on to somewhere else. Now, with him playing with Bradley Beal actually has the capacity and the ability to play off the ball and come off screens and stuff and do catch and shoots. So he can play with Westbrook in that sense. But now that John Wall is with Harden, Wall kind of plays like Westbrook. So I don't know how that's going to look, but we shall see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I don't even know if Harden's gonna stay there. He's unhappy. He's asked to be moved. We'll see what occurs there. But yeah, I think it was a good move for both teams. Unhappy guys on both cities wanted to change, and they've got it. And especially if Harden leaves, if Wall can recover from these injury troubles he's had, yeah, it was a good pickup on their part. And yeah, not getting much for Westbrook would have been tough, but yeah, I think if Wall can return to his form that he had a couple of years ago, yeah, it might be a really good move. Yeah, so COVID has hit the NBA. Portland closed their practice facility today after 3 positive COVID tests. They tested the entire league, and there was 48 positive COVID tests. So too many. Scary. You and I constantly speculate on how this is going to go down. I think it's going to be one of those crazy years. What the NBA decided to do was they released half of the schedule, and they said they'll release half the schedule later on, probably to give them a lot of a buffer as when games are canceled, when games are rescheduled, moved, shifted around. Smart move on their part, I guess, but I really wish they had a better plan than just to move forward like usual.
Well, you know what? They're looking at the NFL, and they're seeing all the problems that the NFL has had, knowing that they are going to encounter the same thing. Like, you can put in all the restrictions, all the regulations, all the protocols that you want, but at the end of the day, there was way too many variables for you to account for to make sure that everybody is actually 100% safe.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
No.
You just can't do it if you're traveling from state to state and arena to arena. It can't be done. I'm sorry. Yeah. So that was a very smart move on their part to give themselves, as you said, a buffer for the schedule, because there's going to be changes. There might be a lot of changes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I'm not very confident in them rolling this season along. I think there's going to be just chaos all the time, and yeah, I wish they had figured out a way of having a bubble system. Maybe play for 3-4 weeks and have one of the conferences leave for a week or two so they can visit their family, get tested, come back. I know that they don't want to all be in a bubble for the whole season because they're concerned about missing their family that long. But maybe you can have a division, all go home and sort it out, visit your family, then go back on the road like you would normally do. There's lots of teams that go on the road for a week or two and then come back. And but yeah, just rolling out as usual. It just doesn't seem like it's possible, and it's getting worse in the U.S. all the time. So not good.
Yeah, it's not good because the U.S. is contaminated pretty much. Like when I say contaminated, like I mean like the whole country is like that. Like it's just bad. It's pervasive and it's everywhere. So that's why they're having all of these problems. And like I said before, you can put in anything that you want. You're still going to have these problems. You're still going to have it without a bubbling system.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. On to some other really strange news. I read this story today about DeMar DeRozan, who had a home intruder come into his home in LA. He heard some noise. I guess one of his children was in a room. He heard some strange noise coming from down the hall. Came running out into the hall and got face to face with an intruder. Chased him out of his home. And yeah, this is his quote. He handled it. This is his quote here. He said, "Oh, everything's good here. I grew up in Compton, so I've been through much worse, so it wasn't that big of a deal." I was blown away by that. But they caught the guy, luckily. And the guy ended up confessing that he mistakenly broke into DeMar's house. He was actually trying to break into Kylie Jenner's house. And so he's going to prison, and hopefully he won't bother any NBA players, any supermodels, anybody else around the LA area.
Yeah. I find it more hilarious that he said, "Oh, bro, so sorry. I thought you were Kylie Jenner's house. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." What are you talking about, man? You can't be just breaking into people's houses like that. Oh, that's ridiculous. Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, DeMar handled it quite well. I was pretty shocked. Oh yeah, geez, yeah, that kind of stuff happened to me lots of my life. I've seen way worse. Imagine Compton growing up. So yeah, that was a crazy story that happened there. Yeah, let's put the guy away for a while and teach him a lesson. Don't break into people's houses in the middle of the night.
No, yeah, for sure. Don't do that. Don't try to accost celebrities. Just, I don't know, just be a normal human being. How about that? Stay in your own house. You know, enjoy it yourself in your own house.
Yeah, it's still scoreless in the Sunday nighter. I did actually forget to mention the games that are happening the rest of the week. There's 2 games tomorrow. Pittsburgh Steelers put their undefeated record on the line, 11-0, against 4-7 Washington football team. That's a 2 p.m. start tomorrow. Yeah, I'm kind of mad that I'm working because I would really like to be watching that. And the 5:15 game is the 8-3 Bills against the 5-6 Niners. The game is being played in Arizona because they can't play games in Santa Clara County where the Niners play their games. And Josh Allen, fantastic year leading the Bills against the Niners. Yeah, it should be a pretty good game, but I think that Bills will take this one.
Yeah, I think that will be definitely the better game out of the 2. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think Allen will probably have a really good game there. But at least the 49ers have gotten some people back on their defense, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, very true. And there's a Tuesday game, supposedly, if everything goes according to plan. The Baltimore Ravens, the COVID team of the NFL, they're back and they're playing the Dallas Cowboys. Lamar Jackson supposedly supposed to be back from COVID. He got COVID on Thanksgiving and said he feels pretty good and should be able to come back. They said they had 4 strains of COVID through that team, and they had a player test positive 10 days in a row. A different player test positive 10 days in a row for COVID. So they've had a lot of upheaval there in Baltimore, and Dallas is a train wreck completely. So it should be an interesting game against 2 really messed up teams.
Yeah, it should be a great game with all this COVID going on, and also too, again, that's what I mean. Like, yes, the NFL has protocols in place to hopefully stop the tide of COVID spreading in the teams, but it's still happening. So
yeah. Okay, I need to talk about our partners and sponsors briefly before we go any farther. Anchor FM has been a great partner and sponsor for Complete Sports Media. They've been really great at posting on multiple podcast platforms, and they call themselves the easiest place to make a podcast. So just go to Anchor FM and follow the instructions, and you can do the same thing that Jason and I are doing here. It's a lot of fun, and Anchor seems to be the greatest place to do it. we also have a really fantastic partner in Verbero. Verbero is a hockey equipment and apparel company, industry leader in performance, value, and technology. The V350 stick is a fantastic lightweight stick with a lot of power and explosiveness. And you can find tons of details on completesportsmedia.com about purchasing Verbero stuff. Pampas Impossibilities, they design and sell dried florals, floral arrangements and installations, and they design a lot of amazing pretty things with West Coast vibes at reasonable prices. And finally, Forever Living, the aloe vera company. They grow and manufacture aloe vera-based products for health and beauty. And CompleteSportsMedia.com has all the details and some ability for you to purchase products at a reduced rate. So thank you to the partners and sponsors we have. Okay, Jason, there was a lot of combat sports last night in the world. Why don't we start with UFC Vegas 16 and the big main event between Marvin Vettori and Jack Hermansson. What a battle! 5-round, incredible, great fight. One of the best title fights I remember seeing in a very, very long time. I enjoyed it a lot. How about yourself?
Yeah, the main event was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. Definitely fight of the night. Clearly fight of the night. And what I was most impressed by was Marvin Vettori, and not just the way that he came out. It was his patience that he exercised in the fight. He didn't go wild like he has a tendency to do. He stuck to his game plan, and he had a counter for everything that Hermansson did on the ground. He had a counter for it. He was incredibly well prepared. And Rafael Cordero, his coach that was in his corner, really gave him all the tools to pull out the victory in this fight.
Yeah, very good point. Rafael Cordero cornered Mike Tyson the week before, so he was making a switch from boxing back to MMA. But yeah, the game plan that Vettori utilized was really fantastic, and he came in ranked number 12 in that division, and Hermansson was ranked number 4. So there might be a changing of the guard there. Vettori getting back up there. When he lost to Israel Adesanya, Adesanya said, yeah, that guy's just never going to be a factor in this division anymore. He might as well change divisions. And yeah, Vettori's pretty mad about that. He's called out Adesanya. He wants another shot at him. But yeah, he might be, as of tomorrow, ranked in the top 5.
Yeah. But rightfully so, ranked in the top 5. That was an incredible performance by him. In all honesty, he probably won't get a shot at Adesanya right away. I would imagine he probably still has another fight before that fight could even be considered as a conversation starter. But it was a fantastic winning plan that he had to beat Hermansson. Put together his combos well. And then also too, at the same time as Hermansson would usually turn up the pace because he gets stronger in the fights, Vettori did the same thing. He matched him in the 4th and 5th round with his pace and his intensity. It's a great fight.
Yeah, no, it was an amazing fight. Really good. I saw that Hermansson posted today that he had a broken eye socket and broken toe from the fight, but he said his spirit isn't broken and he'll come back even stronger. Vettori also called out Paulo Costa, so that could be a tune-up fight between those two. Costa was, kind of embarrassed against Adesanya, quite frankly, but that might be a good battle between two really tough guys. The other thing that I loved about the night was it was dedicated to the Jim Valvano Foundation and the Stuart Scott Memorial Cancer Research Fund. Big fight for cancer. Really great to hear a lot of stories of UFC fighters where their lives have been touched by cancer. I think all of our lives have been touched by cancer, obviously. And yeah, very moving speeches, very moving moments throughout the night, and they raised a lot of money for those foundations. It was really great.
Yeah, it was awesome to see. It was awesome to see the UFC go behind great charities like that, and it was very touching to hear from Stuart Scott's daughters about his foundation and what it means to them to have that going through, and what their dad meant to them too as well. It was a good night to be to reminisce about those that we've lost from cancer and those that have survived cancer as well.
Yeah. No, it was great to see Stuart Scott even in the cage doing some rolling with some of the guys. And yeah, I forgot that he was so big on mixed martial arts, and he was such a champion of it. Not a lot of ESPN guys were really ever into mixed martial arts. It was nice to see him as a guy that was in the front row at many fights, and even in the cage doing some commentaries and some stories and stuff. It was cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. It was very cool to see that he actually was like a proponent of mixed martial arts, a really big proponent of mixed martial arts. And it was cool to see that he actually practiced what he preached as well.
Yeah. Denver Broncos just went ahead 3-0, 55-yard field goal from the Broncos, and man, they're winning. Holy cow. I bet you they just hope the game stops right now and they can count the victory. Yeah, crazy. Surprising score so far. Okay, there was a couple of more positive COVID tests on Saturday early, and 2 bouts had to be canceled because of it. The Montana De La Rose versus Taylor Santos, and Mavsar Avrilev against Nate Landwehr were both canceled and had to be pulled off the card. And a third fight had to be pulled off the card too, as Cody Durden had a non-medical issue that caused him and his fight with Jimmy Flick to be postponed or canceled. Yeah, so the fight card went from 11 fights down to 8, and positive COVID tests just keep happening and affecting the UFC a lot. It's been tough, but they keep just moving along, I guess.
Well, yeah, I guess, you know what? To a certain extent, that's all you can do. That's all you can do, because you know that this is going to happen. But like the UFC has been very adaptable to these situations, and they've been able to continue to keep putting on these events with sometimes decreased amount of contests, but at least they're going forward. So they're doing their best.
Doing their best, yeah. I can't believe how often it happens. Yeah, there's just every single card is having positive COVID tests, but they're sorting it out, I guess, as well they can. Okay, let's talk about the co-main event between Ovince St. Preux and Jamal Sweet Dreams Hill. Man, Hill just looked unbelievable. He just dispatched OSP really quickly, just a barrage of combinations, a couple of knees, and took him out really fast.
Yeah. You know what I noticed with Hill was that he was putting out his jab as a rangefinder to figure out what the range is where he needs to hit this dude, because in the beginning it was really hard for him to find OSP's chin, to hit him in the head as he wanted to. But in the second round, that's when he really began to really start to put it together. And it was just off after that, at the end of that second round, it was an onslaught. It was an avalanche of punches. And before you know it, OSP is out of there, and he's won the fight.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually pretty surprised that Hill was such a big favorite. I don't know huge amounts about Jamal Hill, but yeah, he's still undefeated, 7-0. Ovince St. Preux has had 40 fights, and he's been in there against John Jones. He's been in there against a lot of really, really tough fighters. But yeah, he was overmatched. For some reason, he missed weight. First time he's ever missed weight in his 40 fights. So don't know if there was any kind of cardio problem there. But yeah, once Hill started figuring out the range and stuff, man, his shots were just so accurate, and he just put it on him and just kept coming and coming and coming until OSP was just flailing around the cage, and Jason Herzog, the referee, came in and stopped the onslaught.
Yeah, Jason Herzog came and saved him. And but the other thing that really stood out to me was that Hill definitely had a speed advantage with his fists, with his hands.
True.
He was way faster than OSP was.
Yeah. Yeah, much faster, and super impressive performance. Really great. Okay, why don't we talk about the lightweight fight between Gabriel Benitez and Justin James? Knockout win by Benitez 4 minutes into the first round. What did you think about this performance?
It was a great fight up until it stopped. I was looking forward to seeing more. Benitez actually looked fantastic with his kicks, leading the dance, and his combinations, and James coming back with some huge bombs himself.
Yeah.
But finally, Benitez changed it up a little bit and hit him with that knee to the solar plexus, took the wind right out of James, finished the fight. It was over. It was a very well-placed knee, and it was a great counter to what James was doing, because he caught him coming in and then just took the wind right out of him.
Yeah, at first I thought it was a liver shot the way James went down, but once Felder started breaking it down and talking, you could see that it was actually right into the middle of his solar plexus, right into his gut, took the wind out of him. He just couldn't stand anymore. Boom, on the ground. That was it. Mark Smith came in and stopped it. But James was a game opponent. He was throwing some really big bombs and really getting body shots in, getting some very big hooks. And it was a good fight until boom, that knee landed and it was over.
Yeah, Benitez looked fantastic in this fight. He really did. Light on his feet. I popped the jab quite a bit, and he had his combos working with his kicks. Great win by Benitez. Great win.
Yeah. He was very emotional after the fight. His boxing coach just passed away, and he said he was probably not as good in this fight as he would have been if his boxing coach would have been there. It was a big win. And James came in, in this first fight and just bull rushed a guy and knocked him out within 40 seconds or something, taking a couple of losses now, and he'll have to sort of evaluate what his style is going to be, how he's going to approach some fights. But I enjoyed the scrap, and it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, it was a great scrap while it lasted by two great competitors. But Benitez definitely earned that win with a timely knee to the solar plexus.
Yeah, very, very timely. Boom. Yeah, it was a killer knee. Just step in, wham, put him down. The light heavyweight fight was two really big battlers, very, very heavy hitters, Roman Dolidze and John Allen. Somehow a judge gave the fight to Allen, but Dolidze was, in my opinion, the much better fighter. Somebody gave it 29-28 for Allen, and the other two judges, somebody scored a 30-27 Dolidze and 29-28 Dolidze, but they actually said that judge was the guy that gave Felder the fight over RDA a few weeks back, so they're questioning that judge's ability to score these fights.
I question the fact that boxing judges are judges for MMA, period. Yeah. Maybe that's probably the problem right there in and of itself.
Yeah, good. Well said. Of course it is. Yeah, just brutal. These guys were both amazingly powerful, and it was a fun fight. Dolidze, a Georgian fighter, 8-0, and on a really good career trajectory. And I see him getting some really game opponents coming up, and I look forward to his next fight for sure too. And John Allen was good, but not the better fighter on that night. So the lightweight fight between Jordan Leavitt and Matt Wyman had a crazy finish. Only the 12th slam knockout in UFC history, but Leavitt grabbed him. He held him. Then he decided, I'm going to take him to the other side of the cage. And just before he slammed him, he put his arm up made sure it was used as a base, and took Wyman down to the canvas and knocked him out, completely out immediately, jumped off of him, and fight was over. Wow, I jumped out of my seat. Whoa! Whoa! What a KO that was.
Yeah, I love the fact that because to a certain extent, you could say that Wyman actually jumped guard. And so when he did that, Levitt's just like, okay, well, my coach is over there on that side of the octagon, so I'm just going to walk him over there, and I'm going to listen to what my coaches have to say as I beat him up. And so as he's doing this, you could see Wyman think to himself, maybe I should put my feet down, because he thought about it as he was being walked over. But then he decided to keep it, which was the wrong thing to do, quite clearly. Yeah. And I have not seen the slam done that technically savvy in a very, very long time, by using his off arm as the frame for the head to make sure it has nowhere to go and knock him out with pure force. It was an excellent move by Levitt. Excellent move.
Yeah, such a young guy, so humble, 8-0 in his career. And I really love the move that immediately he walked outside the cage, went over, apologized, I guess, a little bit to Matt Wyman's wife. And it was just a very nice move on his part to say, hey, it's my job. I didn't want to hurt him. I had to take him out, but sorry about that.
Yeah, no, hey, classy. And also, too, I love the fact that he did not do anything more to the man after he slammed him.
Yeah.
Done. Yeah.
22 seconds, done. Yeah, he could have easily probably hit him 2 or 3, 4 times before the referee got there. And, he didn't do it. Wyman, luckily woke up in the cage, was sitting there. I could see him say, what happened? What happened? A few times. He doesn't remember. I don't know if he's going to even remember even getting to the cage, but really amazing performance from Levitt, a young guy that, if he's able to pull off big wins like that, I'm sure he's going to get some really great, well-known opponents.
Yeah, the future looks good for that young man, and unfortunate for Wyman, but I'm sure he'll be back.
The prelims had the bantamweight fight between Luis Smolka and Jose Quinones, and really great fight. Quinones, I think, had the early advantage, and Smolka ended up coming back and getting the win 2-15 into the second round. Did you like this fight as much as I did?
I love this fight. Because it was definitely a back and forth, and Smolka actually had to come back, because he was losing this fight. He was definitely losing this fight. Quinones had superior footwork, kept his distance. His combinations were fantastic. He was the quicker fighter. So Smolka changed it up by taking him to the ground, created that mad scramble where in that he got full mount. Grounded, pounded him out, and then that was the end. That was all she wrote. It was a fantastic win by Smolka.
Yeah, definitely. He had to come back in that second round. He lost that first round for sure. But the judo throw was great, getting him on the ground and finally getting that top mount position. When Quinones turned, gave up his back, then he flattened him out and just started pounding until Herzog came in and stopped it for any more beating from happening. And Smolka, I've always loved him, that Hawaiian fighter. Great. He always puts on really great action fights and very quick, a lot of really great transitions. And it was nice to see him make that comeback and pull out the victory there. It was fun. Yeah, I liked it a lot. It was great. Go ahead.
Oh, no. It was fantastic, man. It really was. Like I said before in that second round where he created that scramble for himself. And that was your TSN turning point for the fight. Yeah. And that's what got him the win.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Another fighter from Georgia was on this featherweight battle before this. Ilya Tupuria fought Damon Jackson, and Tupuria was able to get the knockout 2.5 minutes into the first round there. Just really set up his shots so well. He was able to get the body shot, and then the hands went down. He was able to start getting the headshots, really just picked him apart in the end and pulled out the win. Yeah, I was very impressed with this guy's striking.
I was very impressed too, because you could tell whenever he went to the body, Jackson felt every single one of those punches. You could see it on his face that he didn't like it. He really didn't like it. And that last left to the body really set it up. He folded him pretty much.
Yeah.
Folded him with that left, followed up with the right to the head. Game over.
Yeah. He said he really wanted to do body shots Canelo style. It was kind of cool to hear him talk about a boxer, and he really said that that was his inspiration, and he really wanted to take the lead choke by body shots first. And man, that last body shot just that looked like it really would have hurt a lot, and I think a lot of guys would have dropped from that. He folded him, but took him out with headshots.
Yeah, definitely. He followed through with his Canelo style body shots, because those were vicious.
Yeah.
Vicious.
Very vicious, yeah. And the Jake Collier, Jean Vellante heavyweight fight. Yeah, well, they definitely exchanged a huge amount of punches. Maybe even setting records. I didn't see the final tally, but yeah, great 3-round battle between two guys. Vellante looked a lot better than he did in his heavyweight debut. Collier, yeah, he's a skilled heavyweight. I'm very impressed with his stand-up style, and I like this fight to start off the night.
Yeah, I love the fight to start off the night. Collier he's actually incredibly light on his feet. He moves around very well for a big man of his size. He really does. And he established the low leg kicks first and foremost at the beginning of the fight, jabbed, and then those big guys really picked it up. Huge, heavy punches throughout the entirety of that fight. And Collier caught Vellante with a couple big punches, but Vellante caught Collier with a couple big punches as well. But at the end of the day, it seemed to me that Collier wanted this fight more, and so he really stepped on the gas in the third.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, those guys threw bombs, and but yeah, a lot of action. They didn't gas. They really just went for it, and I was really impressed. I was hating Jean Vellante's heavyweight debut. I thought, he looked so out of shape and just gassed. And at least he came in willing to fight. Didn't take the win, but really, a fun way to start the night. I like heavyweights, and when we get 15 minutes, it's a big bonus, I think.
Oh yeah, it's always a big bonus when you see big men just trying to destroy each other in the octagon. Always fun.
Yeah. Okay, well, that was USC Vegas 16, and it was a fun card. Even though 3 fights got dropped off of it, it turned out pretty well, and I enjoyed it myself. But this coming Saturday is UFC 256, and we've got a championship fight at flyweight between Davison Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno. And you and I talked about this right after when they made the announcement, because both guys fought only 2 weeks, it's going to be 3 weeks. Only 2 weeks ago they fought on the same card, and this will be the quickest turnaround ever for a title fight by far. I'm going to read out the list in a second here, but 21 days apart. They're both didn't take much damage, and boom, they're ready to go. I'm excited. Bang, it's really cool that the UFC can pull this off.
It's very cool that the UFC could pull this off, but it's more impressive that both fighters were willing to make it happen. So kudos to them. It's going to be a great fight. It's going to be a firefight. And with Figueiredo in any fight, you just don't know when it could end, because it could end at any point in time violently. Very, very violently.
Very violently. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I'm excited. I feel like Figueiredo should definitely be the heavy favorite, but Brandon Moreno's been really good in the last stretch there, and I think it'll be a fun fight. I'd put my money on Figueiredo, but we'll see how it shakes out. I want to list off the other fights that are the quickest turnaround ever in history before. there's actually two fights that happened in 56 days, and that's Matt Hughes versus BJ Penn, and Matt Hughes against George St. Pierre. They were both 56 days. And also the champion Ronda Rousey, she fought both Misha Tate and Sarah McMahon in 56 days as well. Those are the fastest turnarounds happened before. So 35 days beat the record by, that's a significant difference between 2 months and 3 weeks. It's a quick turnaround.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever see that again. I'm going to be honest. I think this is going to be the quickest turnaround period. I don't think this will ever be eclipsed.
Yeah, I doubt it. I really doubt it. I think this record will hold forever. The other fights that are on this list happened in 63 days, so just over 2 months. Chris Cyborg fought Holly Holm and Kunitskaya, all in 63 days. Jones, Gustafson, and then Smith in 63 days. So that was a pretty recent one. Ken Shamrock, way back, and then Valentina Shevchenko, Jessica Ai, and Liz Carmouche in 63 days. So a lot of amazing fighters on that list. But this is pretty incredible that they're pulling this off and having it so soon. I'm blown away. Really cool. Tony Ferguson is back. He took a severely bad beating last time. I hope he's fully recovered mentally and healthy. Fights Charles Cowboy Oliveira. I think this fight's going to be really, really fun as long as Tony's back.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I think I'll know if Tony's back as long as he's wearing his sunglasses. As long as he's wearing his sunglasses indoors, that's when I know Tony Ferguson's back. But it's going to be a very, very exciting fight for sure.
Yeah. So UFC 256. There's only 2 cards left in the year. We're winding it down as we head towards Christmas. Cub Swanson and Daniel Pineda are fighting on the main prelim fight that night. And then we've got UFC Fight Night, December 19th. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is fighting Jeff Neal. And in the co-main, it's Jose Aldo fighting Marlon Vera. So a couple of really great cards to look forward to as the year comes to a close for the UFC. 2 more notes I want to talk about the UFC before we move on to some boxing. Yoel Romero was released by the UFC with 3 fights remaining on his UFC contract. Dana White said they have to cut 60 fighters off the card by the end of the year, but off the roster by the end of the year. And Yoel Romero, he said, has lost 4 out of his last 5 and is 44 years old. It's time to cut him loose. And I was pretty shocked by the news. For those last 5 fights, I believe, at least 4 of them were title fights. So, pretty shocking.
Actually, I'm very shocked, especially if you look at Yoel Romero. You would never guess he was 44. Not with a body like that.
No kidding. Yeah.
Yeah, that is shocking, but I understand where he's coming from a business standpoint, where he's looking at the man's age and stuff. And also, too, his last couple of performances weren't great.
So. Yeah. He got $350,000 for fighting Adesanya. He got $150,000 for fighting Paulo Costa. I think that might have been a factor as well. I know the UFC tries to keep the salaries down, and his salary was starting to creep up. Uncle Dana said, he's got to cut a lot of guys loose. They signed 37 fighters between August and November from the Dana White Contender Series. So, I guess he said they've got to trim the fat off the bottom end of their roster. And, I'm sure we're going to get a lot of shocking news in the coming weeks on other guys that are sent packing.
Yeah, but also, too, this is good kind of for the UFC, which is to further reiterate to the fighters, don't get comfortable because you get cut at any point in time. because the name of the game of this game is to win.
Yeah.
So you better keep winning. So
Yeah. There was a funny message that Henry Cejudo sent to Dana White this weekend, and he put a message on Twitter and a video, and he showed this hilarious video. It looks like this guy's in somewhere in Abu Dhabi or something, and he tries to throw some kind of combination at a guy. He gets knocked out. His legs are stiff. He's completely KO'd and his legs are stiff. And the guys are trying to manufacture his legs and sort of unstiffen them a bit. And his legs are flopping back and forth. And he said, "This is exactly how it's going to look when I fight all of your rented champs. 125, 135. And he said, especially that little midget at 145, hashtag Alex Volkanovski." And so Triple C, I think, is saying that he wants to come back and take some belts back from some of these rent-a-champs that he called them.
Rent-a-champs, huh? Oh, all right. That's pretty cool. You know what? That's a great thing about social media. You can stir up some trouble right away just by saying some stuff and associating it with a ridiculous video. But that would be great if he came back in. But I want to say, I think there's still the issue of him being fairly compensated. I want to say that was probably the main reason why he walked in the first place.
Yeah.
So, and now with Dana actually having to cut 60 people, will there be room for him on, like, going forward? There should be, since he's a former champion. He never lost his belts. Should be, right? Yeah. But at the same time, does Dana want to pay him? Because he didn't want to pay him before. What would make me think that he'd want to pay him now?
Yeah, good call. Yeah, I don't see that changing, especially in COVID time. UFC is definitely not bringing in the same money for their live gates, and they probably have less money than when what they had when Triple C walked away. So I don't know if it comes down to money, he probably won't come back, but if it comes down to continuing a legacy and trying to beat these rent-a-champs, I like that he called out Volkanovski. He called him a glorified midget, I think. It's kind of hilarious. And he's got a great mouth on him. He can definitely talk up some fights. So I hope he comes back no matter what. And hopefully they're able to figure out the money thing. It never seems to be too easy to work out the money thing, but as long as it's more for legacy, he should come back.
Yeah. If it's for that, yes, for sure. But obviously, there's going to be a factor for that. And it's funny how he calls Volkanovski a glorified midget. I don't remember Cejudo being that tall himself.
They probably are the same height, probably.
Yeah, or Cejudo is actually shorter. But whatever. Okay, that's cool. It works.
Yeah. Okay, well, that was fun. UFC, it was great to break that down. Why don't we talk about boxing? There was a big boxing card on Saturday as well, same time as the UFC. And the WBC and IBF World Welterweight Championship was on the line. A 12-round fight from Arlington, Texas, Cowboys Stadium, AT&T Stadium. They still had 16,000 fans there, but it looks sparse in an 80,000 seat stadium. Kind of an anticlimactic main event. A battle for the pound best in the world, possibly there. Errol Spence says, can't come back from a horrific car accident, and looked as good as usual. Really handled his business. I just didn't like the way Garcia seemed to let him take the victory. Didn't put up much of a fight, in my opinion.
His approach to this fight was the wrong approach. That's what I'm going to say. I understand how hard it is to change your style that you've had your entire career. But for this particular fight, he needed to change his style. Yeah. He needed to literally punch more. That's what he needed to do to beat this guy. He needed to punch more instead of sit back and counter, which is what he always does. He needed to have more volume throughout every round in this fight.
Yeah.
That's how he was going to win the fight. And when he didn't do that, and those rounds started to slip away as it went on and on and on and on, then it became impossible for him to win. There was at no point in time where Spence was actually worried about, in any way, shape, or form, about this fight or any fight coming back from Garcia. There was nothing.
Yeah,
Pretty easy win by Spence.
it's unbelievable that even his corner wouldn't make an adjustment, make a change, realize that this isn't going to win us this fight. This might be his only shot back at another championship, and he just seemed to blow it. He just was outpunched pretty much every single round. I think he might have won fifth round, and maybe one of those later 9 or 10th round, but just frustrating when you see a guy getting a shot back at a championship and just really not giving it all until at the very end, maybe the last 30 seconds, suddenly he just started letting his hands go and throwing caution to the wind. But he doesn't seem to be in very much trouble with Spence. It was just this jab that just kept connecting the whole time. There wasn't a huge amount of power punches landed by Spence. I think actually Garcia probably had more power punches land, but his approach to this fight was just really frustrating.
Yes, it was. I believe actually with the power punches, they were even. It was around 100 even for both of them. But at no point in time did I ever feel that Garcia was actually outpunching him or outpointing him. Like it was just fairly obvious to me that Spence had firm control of this fight from start to finish. He got off first. He finished his combos last on every sort of interaction in the boxing ring between him and Garcia. And to me, it seemed like it was pretty easy work for Spence. Because at least in Garcia's other two championship fights, he lost those, but it was super close. And in this fight, it was a definite loss.
Yeah.
It wasn't close.
Yeah, it was maddening. He's a former 2-division champion, and he just didn't show the championship medal. It was just too bad because I was really excited for that fight. Errol Spence looked as good as always. He holds 3 belts now. Manny Pacquiao holds 1, and Terrence Crawford holds the other. There's a lot of talk that Terrence Bud Crawford and Errol Spence are on a collision course now. Possibly Crawford and Pacquiao getting, figured out those 2 belts, and then the super fight between Spence and Crawford. This is the preeminent division in boxing now. This has become the best division in boxing, has the best storylines.
Yeah, and it's been the best division in boxing for, I would say, at least a decade now.
Wow.
At least. I would say it's been like that for a long time. And it would be great if we saw a complete unification of all the belts in this particular division. But first, number one, Crawford and Pacquiao have to figure out their stuff so that the fight goes forward, figure out who the winner of that is, and whoever the winner of that is finally gets to fight Errol Spence, and then we see a unified belt holder.
Yeah. And
that will be awesome. This is awesome.
Man. Yeah, incredibly awesome. Yeah, I'm excited. I actually guess I do hope that Pacquiao and Crawford fight so that one of them will hold, the other belts, and then whoever wins holds them all and unifies, all the divisions. I mean, all the belts in that division, and it should be that way in most divisions. And sometimes you got 5 champions in a division. It just becomes watered down and ridiculous. So it'd be nice to finally see somebody unify them all.
Yes, it would be. And if I had to guess who would be that person, I'm still going with Bud Crawford. I think Bud is the guy. Yeah. I think he's the best out of the 3. Now all he has to do is prove it.
Yeah.
But Errol Spence, guy is good. He's real good.
Yeah.
Like his last couple of wins that he's had against the 2 Garcias, Mikey Garcia, Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, who's never been knocked out, and he knocked him out in one of the best fights I've seen in a long, long time. That fight was amazing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we'll see.
And Crawford's performance against Kell Brook a few weeks back was just an amazing performance. And yeah, both of them are at the top of their game. And yeah, I think Errol Spence goes back to the gym and trains for Bud Crawford. I would be doing that right away. And yeah, we're gonna see an incredible super fight sometime in 2021.
Yeah, I hope so, and I hope it's not too far off. I would, if I had to guess, whenever they hold the Pacquiao Bud Crawford fight, that would probably be sometime soon or in April, and then the next fight, the Errol Spence, whoever wins that fight, that would be sometime in summer, late summer.
Yeah,
and that would be awesome.
Incredible. Yeah. I want to just break down a couple of the other fights on the card. There was the WBA World Super Welterweight title eliminator between Sebastian Fundora and Khabib Ahmed. And Fundora, you got to notice his height immediately. He comes walking into the ring at 6'6", and it is just stunning. You think, wow, this could be one of the tallest fighters I've ever seen at a top level. And he just absolutely just brutalized Ahmed, took him out with a second round TKO. And yeah, I think the future is incredibly bright for this young guy. It was just masterful performance.
Yeah, he has the reach. 6'6" like that, just keep him on the end of his punches and not worry about anything after that.
No, the shots landed were 53-5. He was just absolutely pretty much unhittable. Khabib, we talk about Khabib in UFC, not the same class. This guy, I think he was just so overwhelmed. He was actually in trouble 30 seconds in, got rocked with an uppercut, wobbled back, and took a huge amount of shots. I don't think I heard his corner trying to give him some feedback between rounds on what to do next, but I would have just tried to get in range, like a lot tighter to Fundora, because man, where he was stepping out on range and just boom, 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 just taking so many shots. It was brutal. It was it was a mismatch, but Fundora, I think, yeah, the sky's the limit for this kid.
Yeah, and also too, well, you have to be given a chance to get inside range, and he never got that chance. He just never got anything, actually.
I wanted to talk about some of the other tall fighters. Yeah, there was a graphic I saw, and this guy's nickname is the Towering Inferno, which I really like. They've got a list of the notable tall super welterweights in history, and Fundora 6'6", and then Mark Breland, always legendary for being super tall, 6'2". Thomas Hearns was 6'1", Tony Harris is 6'1", and yeah, just this guy's 4 inches taller than the next, super welterweight that was a guy that was a champion, and yeah, I'm excited to see him fight a little bit better competition, and yeah, see if somebody is able to get inside and figure out this reach advantage that he has.
Well, yeah, hopefully the next guy is actually going to be like a real competitor as opposed to, I don't really want to say it like this, but a tomato can. But yes, hopefully the next guy is going to be something of a challenge for Fundora.
Yeah. Did you see the other fights on the card? Did you watch?
I only saw those 2 fights. That's it.
Okay. All right. The welterweight bout that they had between Josecito Lopez and Francisco Santana, 10th round knockout. Josecito, 18-year veteran of the game. Francisco has been in the game for 15 years, but Josecito knocked him down 4 times in the fight. and was able to finally stop him in the 10th round. And then the Ramirez-Flores fight, 5th round knockout. This was also a title and eliminator for the WBA World Featherweight Championship, and Ramirez had the big win. Really impressive, fun nights of boxing and UFC, but I was glad to see the boxing was great. That was a little anticlimactic main event, but the rest of the fights on the card were fun to watch.
Oh yeah. The fights were great. It was just unfortunate that the Spence Garcia fight didn't actually have a little bit more drama to it.
Yeah.
But that's how good Spence is. Won it easily going away.
Yeah. The score in the Sunday nighter, 5.5 minutes left, 10-3 for Denver. Shocking somehow. Looks like Mahomes has got KC at 1st and goal now though, so could be tied quite soon. So I'm going to let Jason go and enjoy the rest of his night and enjoy the rest of this football game. And thanks, man. This was fun. We got to talk about tons of stuff this time. And I guess we've got a couple of UFCs left and only 4 weeks left of the NFL season before the playoffs. So getting down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah, getting down to the nitty gritty. Can't wait to see it all come down. And also, too, very much looking forward to our Christmas break coming up.
Me too. Yeah, me too. Okay, thanks, buddy. Always a pleasure. Take care of yourself, and we'll talk soon.
All right, you got it. See ya.
Okay, cheers. Bye-bye. Okay, well, I'm just gonna wrap it up. We're running pretty late tonight, and we've had a fun breakdown of the weekend of sports. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I always do, and appreciate your support as always. And go to our website, give us some comments, purchase some products, and really looking forward to the next couple of weeks, and then a break over Christmas and getting into 2021. Be nice to put 2020 in the rear view mirror and behind us. I don't think 2020 has been very good for most people. And the sporting world continues on, but COVID continues to rear its ugly head. And we're hoping that the vaccine comes, and we're hoping that people get locked down a little bit more and stop the spread from this. And we can move forward, and we can just talk about, fun things in life, sports especially, and don't have to talk about this virus anymore. So, all right. Well, thanks again for tuning in. Love you lots. Take care of yourself. Have a really great week ahead. Bye for now.